what a wonderful world. How about all them wars all over the place? You call them wonderful? And how about hunger and pollution? They ain't so wonderful either. But how about listening to old Pops for a minute? Seems to me it ain't the world that's so bad, but what we are doing to it. And all I'm saying is see what a wonderful world it would be if only we'd give it a chance. Love, baby, love. That's the secret. Yeah. If lots more of us loved each other, we'd solve lots more problems. And man, this world would be a desert. That's why old Pops keeps saying, I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry. I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I never knew. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if anyone out there is familiar with a film done by a great comedian, Mr. Robin Williams, Good Morning Vietnam. But in that, he was a DJ, Air Force DJ that was there shipped to Vietnam, and in bringing different music to the soldiers and the GIs out there, this was a moment that he played this song, and this is just a great song, man. Shout out to Louis Armstrong. What a wonderful world as we get started on another episode of Poetry Is, and we are getting ourselves ready just to recognize and to celebrate Earth Day coming up, man. No matter who you are, no matter where you are, you are you are on this earth. That's indisputable. I mean, if anyone wants to send me a text from space, I'm willing to take it right now. You can send us a text message to 813-433-0885. Let us know, what galaxy are you from? What planet are you on? Are you riding an asteroid right now? But other than that, you must be on this earth. And thus, we're going to take a few moments to celebrate the earth, recognize the earth, the beauty of nature, and all that allows us to continue to exist. It is more than just technology. It is more than just a microwave. It is the great nurturing Mother Earth. All of the elements coming together, as random as they are, but as perfect as they are, in order to provide us with a place, a space, and growth. And we're going to have some people in here tonight. We are rocking. This is Poetry Is on 88.5 WMNF Tampa, WMNF.org. We bring you spoken word soul each and every Sunday night right here from 7 to 8 p.m. And we thank you guys for joining us for another week. And we have a guest that we brought back, and I'm so happy to have this artist back with us because I just love the way that she speaks, especially when we speak about subjects like this. None other than Miss Victoria Dim. Hello, madam.
Hello, sir.
Greetings and salutations to you.
Well, I'm here to praise the planet.
Yes, yes. From plateaus to plains to riversides to the fault line that just gave New York an earthquake a couple weeks ago, to all of it. It exists for a reason. All right, so it's great to have you here. I can't wait to get you on live and let you speak to the people and talk to the people about the planet. And of course, I want everyone within the sound of my voice, whether you guys are listening to us on the radio or you're listening online at WMNF.org, I want you to send some well wishes and healing vibes to what might be unarguably one of the best co-hosts in spoken word radio history, none other than my teammate, Miss Lyrical Tempest herself right here. She's feeling a little bit under weather, but she's probably going to pop in with a word or two, maybe not. But she's here in the building in spirit, and she's working the camera. So if you guys want to check us out on social media, we are going live right now. But with that said, there's so much I was pulling, and I think that I want to open up with hearing from the youth. I came across this young gentleman's poem, and I just want to say that I loved it because of the youthful honesty, but the truth that he was speaking. So you knew that it wasn't tainted with politics or any type of push for any type of narrative. It was just, as they say, out of the mouth of babes. Out of the mouth of babes. So that being said, I want to open up this Earth Day recognition celebration of poetry is with this piece, and I truly believe in the title, We Can Be More, by a young gentleman by the name of Soli Raphael, all the way from the continent of Australia. This is Poetry Is.
We can be more. We can be more than nice packaging on our wasted products. We can be more than paper cuts and paper cups. We can be more than a more pollution solution. We can be more than plastic bags tagging flags all over our sea life population. We can be more than an idea about a waste diminution, discussing a future evolution and a future resolution confusion, because evolution is just a proven illusion about how our home will soon be ruins. But we can be more. We could be more than trying to ignore the war on waste. We could be more than a future of haste moving us towards a disaster being complete. And we throw out a third of the food we eat. That's more disgusting than the sweat amongst our feet. It's true. You think it's up to the factories, but it's really up to you. So next time you go into the shops, think about all the crops ripped off farmers' plastic bags, and those who dedicate their lives to the war on waste pursue. Because it's all in people power. People have the power to make the people greedy or equals. Through the sequels of our days, changing our ways can rephrase our answer to yes. Yes, I will change. Opening a new page, starting a new stage, entering a new age, in saving our world. Because this is something we can't erase, and yet we're still choosing money over something that's irreplaceable. And here it looks alright, but over there, it's disgraceful. Because our home is dying. Our ice caps are crying, our ecosystems are sighing while we keep buying, keeping our business ships sailing, but our tips are failing to maintain our rubbish. And when did our planet deserve to be punished? Yet they say everything's fine. Don't listen to our planet, we will never need to change, we will never need to change because everything will always stay the same. And then it's gone. But we could still be more. We could be more than throwing all the mistakes on the dockside. We could be more than travelling through carbon dioxide with carbon monoxide. We could be more than bypassing the fact that global warming is a global warning of heat. And if you can't conceive it, doesn't mean you shouldn't believe it. Because we can change coal mines to solar inclines by taking a step with our feet. We could be more than this because our home is infinity to what money could ever be worth. And realise that your litter is a bitter pinch to the earth. We could be more than this. We could be more. Can't we?
Miss Dim, what did you think about that piece?
We can be more, certainly. I wanted to comment on the What a Wonderful World song. I think it's really important to remember that we do live in a magical planet, that everything that's here has been provided to us and for us, and that we should appreciate that. And in a weird way, the human species doesn't live up to its natural surroundings.
I'm sorry. You took the words out of my mouth.
I got you. Yeah, I got you.
No. Wow. Sorry. That was just such a deep statement. That was so much in so little that, that was heavy.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think the world necessarily has to be a heavy place to live in. But we do need to recognize that there are some things that are headed in the wrong direction. And I think finally people are coming around to swallowing climate change, that it's not actually a theory, but it's actually happening.
Right. People are now saying, oh, this is one of the hottest summers we've ever had. Like, how about that? Oh, this is one of the hottest falls and winters. How about that?
What about last month? Or was it this month that we had a tornado warning, and a tornado actually came upon our shores? Brief, not much damage, but it's a tornado in Florida?
Yeah. We get the water spouts from time to time, but rarely do they ever come on. So just, not in being, any type of doomsdayist or anything like that, but we do have to recognize there are changes that have been happening. And as we get older, we have more of a perspective in order to see the change over time versus somebody who's only had, a certain amount of summers under their belt, so to speak. So it's very, very important that we continue to keep our eyes open, recognize, and speak about it, because not everyone is going to see it as easily or as readily as we are. Some people are, for some reason, resistant when actually, making changes right now could do nothing more than help us in the long run. The only time I ever see people really having resistance towards making changes like that is if it's some type of economic type of thing, money driven, or it might, shorten the profit margin, so to speak. But no, we do have a responsibility to ourselves and to a future that we don't have to be there to care about it. You know what I'm saying? We have to be able to see it, even though we may not be there, a part of it, and make sure that it has a chance to do all the things that we do. We continue to grow, we continue to advance, but we can't do it without the planet.
One of the ways that I keep my sanity is by obviously writing. and writing poetry, and a lot of my poetry is based upon the natural world. And if I can, I'd like to read one.
I would be...
This was just recently published in La Piccoletta Barca, which is a journal. And it's called, I Have a Forest in My Head. I have a forest in my head where I can bathe. Japanese forest bathing is a thing, where I am highly oxygenated. The dizziness of clarity, the smell of nature, the essence of all beings, a loamy scent, the earth from where we start and where we end, birds that call to each other and to me, a ladybug that lands on my moist skin for luck as I travel through.
I cut off my own microphone. Wasn't even thinking about that. Please, 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 y'all, give it up one more time for Miss Victoria Dim sharing the art words and poetry. Yeah, that was for you.
Oh, thanks. So that poem, to me, is something that helps me combat all these climate changes, is to internally change my climate and to go to my forest in my head and walk through my idyllic, wonderful world.
I'm just wondering how scary it could be that possibly one day the only place we'll be able to see forests will be in our minds and in our memories. That cannot be allowed. No. People talk about tree huggers and all those hippies and all of that there, but there's no place on this planet that we can be without it being under us and sustaining us and giving us what it is that we need for us to survive. There is no existential lifeline of air supply outside of this planet. Trees and plants are the only things that make oxygen, and they've been doing it for a very, very long time. So the fact that we are willing to shed and lose acres and acres and acres of forest and land is beyond unacceptable. It's just absolutely amazing and disheartening, but it starts with us recognizing what's going on, and it starts with us taking account and being willing to make changes and love this planet that we are on.
Yeah, I wanted to also say, I think that we're in a relationship with nature, and it is a love relationship, and especially with trees, because like you say, they need us. They take our carbon dioxide, then we take their oxygen. So it is really a love relationship.
A true symbiosis, correct.
And if I may, I have another poem.
No, by all means.
It's called This Tree, and it was just published on the 18th in Creative Loafing.
Shout out to Creative Loafing. A lot of local artists were published.
And I wanted to also shout out to Dennis Amadeus because he told me about this opportunity to send this poem into Creative Loafing, because they're doing a whole thing on trees. There's lots of other poets that have in that issue poems about trees.
Awesome, because I think I saw something about Unspoken, Mr. Rob Fernandez that's doing this. So please, ladies and gentlemen,
it's called
Victoria Dim.
It's called This Tree, and it's dedicated to a friend of mine. Her name is M.A. Sinhubar, and she's right now probably listening to Poetry Is from her couch in Clearwater. She's 88, and I'm sorry, she's 86, and she's on her journey to the other world.
Shout out to you, Queen.
This tree for M.A. This tree reaches out to me, briny bark branch, wants to shake my hand, perhaps, or like a homeless man is begging for money, palms up, or maybe the outreach is an invitation for a hug, wants to give me a mother tree hug, mother me, love me, like the mother I've never known. This tree, a giant 15 feet at least to the crown, I look up, makes me want to kneel, to curtsy, to bow in respect of its sheer majesty. This tree, wise tree, long-lived tree, spreads peace, tranquility, shade, bark beetles. This tree in Lowry Park, historic, classic, southern live oak, whispers to me from the underground, the other world, fungus and roots, the language of carbon and water, a lively conversation, this tree, laughing the way trees do, shaking leaves and jiggling cascades of Spanish moss in jolly kinship.
Poem. Whew. And we are here. And again, this week for Poetry is we are recognizing, we are celebrating, we are honoring not just Earth Day as a celebration, but what it means, recognizing and loving our planet. Give us a quick second. We're going to go ahead and get into ad we need to play for the station, but we'll be right back with more Poetry Is right here on 88.5 WMNF Tampa, WMNF.org.
With a WMNF community announcement. Did you know that nearly 200,000 women will be living in shelters this Mother's Day? This is why 2 Men in a Truck created Movers for Moms. In partnership with Community Radio, essential items will be collected at WMNF Studio from now until the week of May 6th to be given to moms living in shelters for Mother's Day. Clothing, shampoo, pillows, slippers, anything goes a long way in making moms feel special. To find drop-off locations in your area or get involved, visit WMNF.org under Community Events. Thanks.
And we're back on Poetry Is, WMNF Tampa, WMNF.org. And in this loving of Earth Day, I think I'm going to do this piece real quick. We're going to get into a love poem to our Earth by Lindy Nolte, right here on Poetry Is.
Come on in. Take off your shoes. I'd like to tell you a story. I was born in Rustenburg. Grew up as a barefoot kid in South Africa. Raised by a mom and a dad who fixed my eyes on the living world around me as though it was that exactly. Living. So I spent my days checking its pulse, digging for bugs, jumping from trees, skipping through grass. I went to bed with mud under my nails, splinters in my feet, twigs in my hair, and texture in my dreams. The first love of my life was a frangipani tree in our backyard. It sweat the sweetest nectar. It wasn't tall at all, but it was proud, and it knocked the wind out of me whenever I saw it dancing in a storm. The most beautiful thing I had ever seen move before. The hands of trees with joy outstretched, and the beauty stole the breath right out of my chest. The first love of my life was a tree born from this world, this living world my parents fixed my eyes on. Which is why I blame them that I grew up to become a poet. It is their fault entirely that I am here with this clumsy but full-hearted attempt at a love poem to our planet. This is where poetry is born. Here, beneath our bare feet, here on this impossibly rare breathing sphere. Here, on this small speck of brilliant blue light traveling through endless space. Here, there, everywhere, there, in the Kruger National Park. I am sitting on my father's lap. Small enough to bounce on his knee, cheek to cheek, we are watching the stars. The boerewors sausage sizzles on the fire, hyenas laugh in the distance, and Africa's air is thick this evening. My father is staring just above the branch of the Wachabiki thorn tree. There, he whispers, see, the Southern Cross, a constellation only visible in this hemisphere. Where? I whisper in return, as though the stars are skittish and might run away if they hear us calling their names. I squint hard, determined to see what is yanking at the edges of my father's lips, what is causing his breath to slow, his eyes to glow, his brow to wrinkle. What thing, hanging in the darkness, can create in man this rapture? I have to know. Where? I repeat. He takes my hand, rests it upon his, and together we take aim at distant light. Like Orion hunting in the night, we search. And then my telescopic lenses focus, the veil is lifted, and the constellation appears. Wow! Spills from my tongue like a fountain pen exploding onto a page, nearly ruining the silence with its ecstasy, like I had been holding onto that wow for all eternity. And again, the beauty steals the breath right out of my body, and the stars are forever stuck in my eyes. Years later, my mother and I are in the backyard, gathering rocks and flowers to build a new home for our pet turtle. She comes to me, opens her hands like the book she reads to serenade me to sleep, reveals the story of a shongololo, a millipede curled into itself, the shape of a shell, the shape of a bird's eye view of a hurricane, the shape of a human fingerprint, the shape of a spiral galaxy light years away, the Fibonacci sequence gifted to me in my mother's palm. She places the millipede on the grass, it unwinds and surfs the green. Look, she says, each foot is a relay racer. Each foot passes a baton before the one in front of it can move on. We are connected, inextricably linked by the very fibers of our being. We need each other, she says, folding her hands like she is closing a book. And that is the moral of the millipede story. This is my theory. Surrendering my breath to beauty is not just vital to my poetry. It is my duty as a citizen in our aching and distracted society to resist the spread of cynicism and fear, to say, no, I refuse to further darken this world by adding to its misery. Instead, to watch the stars, to run barefoot, to write poetry is an act of resistance, is an act of love. I know, I'm just a stranger, making the case for something that seems whimsical and trivial. But the beauty of this earth isn't just something nice to look at. It is a vital source from which to tap energy to revitalize our desire to fight for a better future. So when the earth offers you a moment of beauty, in the form of a rainbow arching its spine across a clear blue sky, or the moon waxing, spilling slivers of silver light onto black oceans, or dandelion stems letting go of their seeds to watch them drift away in a breeze, a river snaking through reeds, searching for the elusive sea, birds throat-singing ancient symphonies, mountains sheltered in fog, stars springing forth from the abyss. When beauty comes to you like this, surrender every last bit of your breath to it. Let it sweep you away. Let your ego retreat from your soul. Let your body strip down to the animal. Let it stun you, seize you, hypnotize you until you are still to the core, transfixed by its force. And before it goes, before it's gone, grab it by its tail, pull it into view, look at its face, know it by its name. It is poetry. It is art. It is music. It is alive. This world is so, so alive. Let's not forget. And you are not a mere observer of the art, but a brushstroke on the same canvas. You are inside of the frame, fragment of the whole, stanza of the poem, star in the constellation, foot of the millipede. We need each other. We all have but a short breath between our birth and our death. Should we not spend it protecting this incredibly, impossibly rare, beautiful, temporary home? Should we not spend it proudly passing the baton to the next generation and on? We must do what we can with what we have while we are here. This is what I have. This poem and these bare feet planted firmly on this belief that our breath is best spent on love. Thank you.
That was a love poem to our earth by Miss Lindy Nolte. Tremendous piece with so much food for thought layered within it. I just thought it was a really beautiful poem. I was so happy to find out. I was like, yes. So hopefully you guys are enjoying that. And hopefully you guys are also enjoying our live guest that we have in studio tonight, none other than Miss Victoria Dim. Now, you've heard her do poetry, but did you also know that she has a secret moniker? She has a secret card in her purse that she pulls out and gives. And it's almost like that lady that was in that John Wick movie, that because she was like on a higher level, she just came and gave the card and people were like, yes. But just tonight, I'm going to let you know what it says on the card. It says, the Haiku Lady. Now, I understand you may not know how powerful something like this is, but she has been given this identification card because she is identified as the Haiku Lady, a purveyor of lines of prose, sometimes structured in 3 syllables, 17, with an earthliness that comes and lets nature sit by her side in awe of its beauty. Raindrops rise back to clouds, only to see her in a skyway view. And the sun. The sun secretly calls the moon and stands in eclipses only because it knows it cannot shine and outshine the Haiku Lady. Oh, the fish, this is the reason why they swim upstream. Spawning was not its purpose. She is the sound that when she speaks, the frequency of her voice causes bears to come out of hibernation. Lo, she is the wind beneath our wings. Prepare for the Haiku Lady. Here she is.
Oh, that's the best introduction I've ever had in my life. Well, thank you so much, D-Rod. I know I'm all about 575, so that was quite a long introduction for somebody who uses such a short form. But thank you again. I would just like to say that I teach haiku. It's very easy, 575, but it's also very difficult if you think it has to relate to the earth and it has to relate to some natural phenomenon. And, the leader of us all is Basho. He was a Japanese man who invented the form and used to just sit out by the pond. He used to just sit out in nature. He just used to walk in nature. Poets used to do poet walks. So if everybody hears the sound of my high frequency voice, I would like you to get out there tomorrow, if not tonight, and take a walk in nature.
Yeah, man.
Any time of year.
Walk by the bay. We got beaches. We got a lot of beaches out here.
Beaches. We've got even just walking on a sidewalk. You'd be surprised what forms of life you see. But I did bring a haiku, if you'd like to hear it.
I would like to hear this haiku that you have brought, that I may hear it.
It's hard to do improv and haiku, but I'll talk about that in a second. So this haiku came to me one summer's day, actually in Chicago, Illinois, when I was at a kid's birthday party and I was outside and there was it was the end of the summer and there was this little bee in the grass. A bee's grounded dance, crawling around the grass green. Summer's one last sting. And here's the other thing about haiku. You just have to sit in it. You have to think about it. You have to write another one. It's super easy.
True.
So I wanted to tell you that I'm going to be at a show here on Thursday in Tampa.
Where are you going to be?
The Haiku Lady's going to be at Poetry on the Lighter Side.
With
some other poets. And there's a surprise that I could tell now. You told about the card, but these poets are going to have to do haiku improv.
Well,
Get a suggestion from the audience, and they'll have to make up a haiku on the spot.
this will be interesting.
Invite everybody to come Thursday at the Commodore Theater, 7 o'clock. There'll be a formal reading and then some hijinks with the Haiku Lady and some other great things that happen. Hope you can make it all.
I'm loving it because I know a few of the poets that's going to be there. So I'm definitely jazzed for it. Okay, so this is going to be, again, this upcoming Thursday.
The 25th of April.
The 25th of April at the Commodore Theater. At what time?
The Commodore Theater is 811 East 7th Avenue. And that's right there on the quiet side of Ybor.
Mm-hmm.
There's
where it
free
starts.
parking there in the dirt lot. So, so free
That's a plus.
parking. Right. And the other thing is, I might mention that we're going to have Maureen McDowell, Zach Katz, Stephen Lindau, Cam, I hope I say his name right, DK, and me, the Haiku Lady. I know I'm forgetting someone. Oh, Julia Owens.
Okay.
And Julia Owens actually has a surprise as well that night. She's going to be debuting her short film poem.
Oh, that's the name of the film? Poem?
It's a short film poem.
That's all inclusive.
Yeah, it's worth the price of admission anyways.
Definitely. And if people want to look up for information on it, where can they go?
CommodoreComedy.com.
CommodoreComedy.com. Again, guys, the quiet side of Ybor. And again, this Thursday, and what time is it starts again?
It starts at 7:30.
7:30. So make sure you get there at 7. You know what I'm saying? Get that free parking, get a good spot, nice little short walk back. Bring yourself a little extra change. Definitely, support the venue and enjoy. Because it's one thing to see poets perform some of their pieces that they're familiar with. It's another thing to see them in the creative mode, not the polished mode. And that can be absolutely awesome or it can be awesomely awful. But either way, it's great.
Gonna be funny.
It's going to be great to see.
We need to laugh.
All right. Okay. Listen, we're having a great time right now. We've got about 15 more minutes left before we slide out. And of course, we will be sliding over to the Colors of Jazz. And guys, remember, April is not just Natural Poetry Month. It is also Jazz Appreciation Month. So definitely sit back for a show with some very, very knowledgeable, very, very deep-pocketed, deep crate digging DJs following us right after this and after the NPR news. So with that being said, we are going to get into something. Let me see what we have. Yeah. All right. So we did, of course, a love poem to our earth. And of course, we started it off with the young gentleman. When that clip was done initially with Soli Raphael, I believe he was 13 years old. Out of Australia. So yes, shout out to that young gentleman and all the art that he is doing. And let me see. I want to get into okay. So I came across this piece. This is a young gentleman by the name of let me see here, 7 Generation poem. Unique Vibrations. And this was an event which I found out was called the Water Rocks Poetry Slam. And I had never ever heard of it, but I got this little quick piece from this gentleman. So I've never heard, people can get very passionate about the earth. So to hear the passion about the earth expressed in poetry slam form was kind of interesting. So I went ahead and got in with this. So sit back, relax. You are listening to Poetry Is.
The heat grows thick, it's getting harder to breathe. Most of the oxygen has disappeared with the trees. Soon one day there will be no more water to drink. 1,000,000 years of life can be gone in the blink of an eye. How many more people will die? Please. Which one of those people am I? We haven't met, but your actions affected my life. Using money has certainly come with a price. Oh, grandfather, tell me, how did you use your own life to help me? No clean water, no food. I don't know how much more of this we can go through. I haven't eaten in weeks. People feed on the weak. Other children eating bodies they see on the streets. Nowadays, no more seeking for peace. Your friendly neighbors look at you and they think of a feast. Humans, I hate you. I don't know why nature would create you. We're made to take care of this planet, but cause nothing but damage, and I just don't understand it. Why? How many more people would die? I wonder, which one of those people am I? How has my actions affected this life? Using anger has certainly come with a price. Maybe you have fought and truly gave it all you had to fight in hopes to make us a new path, but the conditions you were in were just too bad. Now it's too late. It's too late. We have finally reached our true fate. This is destiny's last flower and humanity's last hour.
Okay, so I got to do a quick correction. If we were CNN, we would do a correction. If we were the New York Times, we would do a correction, but only when we think that we're right. But I'm going to do it when I know that I'm wrong. I gave the incorrect name for the gentleman who just did that last piece. That last poem is titled 7 Generations, and that is by D.K. Imamu Akachi. Again, that is D.K. Imamu Akachi. 7 Generations right here on Poetry Is. And I got that out. That was pretty well. That's a pretty good job. That was a pretty good job. And again, we are here with our special guest in-house, none other than Miss Victoria Dem, a.k.a. the Haiku Lady, a.k.a. we're going to see you Thursday, a.k.a. at 7 p.m. because 7:30 is when we open the doors, and we want you there early and relaxed over down at the Commodore Theater on 7th Avenue, the quiet side of Ybor.
I want to rant.
Rant?
I would like to rant.
Can you rant and rave?
Yes, well.
Okay, well, let me get
So that was
EDM
sort of
music.
a rant, that poem. So this poem is called What the Fish.
What, the fish?
Yeah, it's
Flopping
about
or flounder?
It's about animal rain, which I don't know if you know what that is. Animal rain, it's a thing now. It's when the water spout of these tornadoes pick up fish, and then they rain like places they're not supposed to rain fish. So this is called What the Fish. Fish fall from the sky in Texarkana, fish. Small fish, school of fish, 100 fish fall. Fish on the freeway, flip-flopping fish, fish in the fields, fish, raining fish, flash flood of fish, fish in the beds of trucks at the Ormax dealership, fish, 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 Armageddon fish, fish fall from the sky.
And you may hear reports, it's not only fish that often fall from the sky. Sometimes it's other sea life. There has been notations of iguanas getting picked up near the Galapagos and getting dropped off in other places. So, and if you think about it, it does happen. This is something that is in nature. So when people say things are impossible and, you know, they didn't happen and stuff, you hear biblical, well, yeah, you know, there's some things that do happen. So you definitely got to look at it. And again, what a wonderful world that we live upon. So essence, so balanced that the only time it has major problems is when we put it out of balance. And that's what Earth Day is about. It's about recognizing not just the earth and appreciating it, but also recognizing how we affect it. You know, the vehicles, we have this big EV push for electric vehicles, which, you know, you think is good because, you know, oh, it's not putting out any, you know, gas or any emissions from the vehicle. But it usually takes coal burning stuff to produce the electricity that they use to put into the vehicle for it to use. So definitely start thinking, definitely way deeper. Shout out to my brother DJ Concept walking through the building here at 88.5. But definitely start thinking about not just, you know, what's going on in the earth, but how do I affect it personally? Because that's the only thing that you can truly affect yourself. We can't make anybody do anything, but you can make a change for yourself. Because we've got a future that we've got to live up to, and we've got generations that we've got to be there for. So with that being said, I want you to end us off before we get out of here. But before we do, I want to get into this piece. I think it's apropos for just what we were talking about. This poem is called Dear Future Generations. And this is by a gentleman named Prince E.A. And I think the poem will speak for itself. I love Prince E.A. Oh, you love Prince E.A.? Okay, so listen, I'm doing something right here, y'all. You hear it. I've been approved by the haiku lady. I'm doing something right. All right, so we got Prince E.A. with Dear Future Generations. Sorry. Here on Poetry Is.
Dear future generations, I think I speak for the rest of us when I say, sorry. Sorry we left you with our mess of a planet. Sorry that we were too caught up in our own doings to do something. Sorry we listened to people who made excuses to do nothing. I hope you forgive us. We just didn't realize how special the earth was. Like a marriage gone wrong. We didn't know what we had until it was gone. For example, I'm guessing you probably know it as the Amazon desert, right? Well, believe it or not, it was once called the Amazon rainforest, and there were billions of trees there, all of them gorgeous, and... Oh, you don't know much about trees, do you? Well, let me tell you, trees are amazing. I mean, we literally breathe the air they are creating. They clean up our pollution, our carbon. They store and purify water, give us medicine that cures our diseases, food that feeds us, which is why I'm so sorry to tell you that we burn them down. Cut them down with brutal machines, horrific, at a rate of 40 football fields every minute. That's 50% of all the trees in the world gone in the last 100 years. Why? For this. And that wouldn't make me so sad if it weren't so many pictures of leaves on it. You know, when I was a child, I read how the Native Americans had such consideration for the planet that they felt responsible for how they left the land for the next 7 generations. Which brings me great sorrow, because most of us today don't even care about tomorrow. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry that we put profit above people, greed above need, the rule of gold above the golden rule. I'm sorry we use nature as a credit card with no spending limit, overdrafting animals to extinction, stealing your chance to ever see their uniqueness or become friends with them. Sorry we poison the ocean so much that you can't even swim in them. But most of all, I'm sorry about our mindset, 'cause we had the nerve to call this destruction progress. Hey, Fox News, if you don't think climate change is a threat, I dare you to interview the thousands of homeless people in Bangladesh. See, while you were in your penthouse nestled, their homes were literally washed away beneath their feet due to rising sea levels. And Sarah Palin, you said that you love the smell of fossil fuels. Well, I urge you to talk to the kids of Beijing who are forced to wear pollution masks just to go to school. See, you can ignore this, but the thing about truth is, it can be denied, not avoided. So I'm sorry, future generations. I'm sorry that our footprint became a sinkhole and not a garden. I'm sorry that we paid so much attention to ISIS and very little to how fast the ice is melting in the Arctic. I'm sorry we doomed you, and I'm sorry we couldn't find another planet in time to move to. You know what? Cut the beat. I'm not sorry. This future, I do not accept it. Because an error does not become a mistake until you refuse to correct it. We can redirect this. How? Let me suggest that if a farmer sees a tree that is unhealthy, they don't look at the branches to diagnose it, they look at the root. So like that farmer, we must look at the root and not to the branches of government, not to the politicians run by corporations. We are the root, we are the foundation, this generation. It is up to us to take care of this planet. It is our only home. We must globally warm our hearts and change the climate of our souls and realize that we are not apart from nature, we are a part of nature. And to betray nature is to betray us. To save nature is to save us. Because whatever you're fighting for, racism or poverty, feminism, gay rights, or any type of equality, it won't matter in the least. Because if we don't all work together to save the environment, we will be equally extinct. Sorry. Hey guys, for the past several weeks, I've been here in Africa, the heart of Africa, witnessing the horrific destruction of the rainforest, which inspired me to write this piece. Why are forests being destroyed at such an enormous rate? For this. Today we live in a world where destroying trees makes you money. So what can we, normal people, do about it? One way to directly fight the destruction is to stand for trees. By standing for trees, not only can you save...
That was Prince AE with Future Generations. Oh, Prince EA, sorry. Just like the video games. EA Sports, sorry. Prince EA with Dear Future Generations, sorry. Here, closing out Earth Day recognizing episode of Poetry Is, right here on 88.5 WMNF Tampa, also online on WMNF.org. And before we go, we definitely want to say thank you so much to you, Miss Victoria Dim, for coming out, for blessing us with some of your words, your poetry, the haiku, and of course the event that's going to be coming up again this Thursday at the Commodore Theater on the quiet side of Ybor at 7:30. So get there at 7 p.m. so you can get yourself a good free parking spot right there in the grass area, and you're going to hear some great poetry and some funny stuff, and there's going to be some improv going on. So we're going to get some poets out of their comfort zone and create some beautiful, beautiful works of art right there on stage, so you can be there to absorb it, because no one else is going to see it but you.
Thank you so much for having me. I just wanted to read this really short poem.
Sure.
To close it out, just like Prince EA said, there is hope. This is called On the Island of Trash. Like a plastic raft, remote Pacific Ocean, garbage patch, twice the size of Texas, floating detritus, toothbrushes, soap bottles, fishing nets swirled and swirled and swirled. Ocean currents give birth, plumed algae, mussels, open oceaned, gooseneck barnacles, plains crab, shrimp-like amphipods, all colonizing, forming an imperfect union, raising a flag on the island of trash.
Perfect way to close it out. And again, Ms. Dim, thank you so much for coming back here and visiting with us and sharing so much information and your spoken word with us and the listeners here at Poetry Is. And of course, guys, sit back and relax.